Hello everyone! It is the 13th and final full moon of 2020. We don't often get 13 full moons, but this year in October we had a blue moon on Halloween, which was a very special occasion. Those happen rarely, apparently, every 20 years or so. So because of the extra full moon, we're now in the place of the 13th full moon. And so I wanted to talk about accessing the primal. When we think of full moons, we think of werewolves and harnessing our animal instincts and connecting to nature and feeling what it is we can create, And so I wanted to talk to you today about accessing your own primal place, particularly because it's the 13th moon, and there's a lot of feelings about the number 13, that it is a scary, evil number of the devil. But my connection to the number 13 is that it is actually the truth of the divine. And when we're meditating on what 13 is and what it means, it's actually a way we can connect to the truth of ourselves, which is our divinity, which is a very primal place because we're humans on earth, we're animals on earth, and that in and of itself is a divine experience that we like to disregard. We think being divine is being outside of the body, but no, being in the body, allowing the primal nature of our smell and our sweat and our blood and our hunger teach us about what it is to be divine. And I believe we fear the number 13 because in order to access our truth and love our primal selves, we have to face the parts of ourselves that don't agree with that we disregard, that we feel are undeserving of a place within the divine. And that's terrifying. That's terrifying to face those places and love them. And that's why we fear the number 13, in my belief. From a numerological standpoint, you can look at it as the number 1 and the number 3. And 1 being of the self, and 3 representing direction or authorization. So putting those together, it's self-directed or self-authorized direction. You directing your own life and discovering what it is inside of you that is your direction. And add 1 and 3 together, you get 4. And 4 is a foundation. So that is the divine. Setting a safe, divine foundation and space for you to uncover what it is about you and the truth of your primal nature that is your own self-authorized direction in this life. And again, getting there, getting to the deeper and the deeper and the deeper truth of that can be terrifying. But it's just to recognize that it's parts of our own ego melting away, accessing the light for the first time. If you imagine, or if you know from your own experience of having been in a dark room or having been asleep and suddenly the bright lights come on, it's startling and your eyes hurt at first and it's a little slightly uncomfortable. But if you take that to the much higher degree that you have lived, imagine having never experienced light at all. You've only experienced being in the darkness. And you don't even know what the light is. Suddenly this blasting of light coming onto you would be terrifying and seem like you're dying, because suddenly the whole way in which you perceived reality is expanded, melted away, blown up. You don't know who you are anymore. You don't know where you are. And that's kind of what the ego feels like when we decide to explore and heal and get deeper into ourselves, to that place of the divine. So here we are on the 13th full moon of the year, which connects us to this divine place, which I'm going to explore tonight as the place of our primal nature. I've got my boar's tooth with me. I've got my wasp. And I've got my deer vertebrae. Now, the deer vertebrae, or the deer medicine, helps us connect to how what we perceive as innocent and graceful arrests us, causes us to pause and feel awe for something we see as so pure in its gentleness. When we have that connection to a deer, that we have to stop in our tracks and just witness how precious and beautiful and graceful and what we believe innocent it is, that's us recognizing that in ourselves. That's us recognizing that that exists in us, if we're willing to accept that that's what we're seeing. I have my boar's tooth with me because the boar medicine is about being really grounded and accessing that place of what we would call aggression, but not aggression towards others, but aggression to stay the course, to sniff out what you are seeking and take it. And balancing those two, this grace with this focused, aggressive direction of self. Again, not aggression towards others. And the wasp. I think I had it backwards last time. Knowing her place in the hive. Knowing intimately what it means to set a safe space. A safe home. A haven for herself and her place in the community. So just feel into that energy for yourself. Where can you find grace in yourself? How does that work with aggression? How does that work with knowing your place amongst the hive, amongst the community, so that everyone benefits? How can you play with primal energy tonight? How can you enjoy the fact that you have a smell, that you have hair covering you, that you sweat, that your stomach growls, that you lust, that you salivate? How can you really just tap into that energy tonight for yourself and decide that it is divine? Decide that it connects you to the higher realms of yourself. Grace, aggression, community. Switch aggression to powerful decision. Grace, powerful decision, community. Just rubbing the tips of my fingers together to really start to feel the energy of my own body. And I'm rocking my pelvis back and forth to connect to just the energy that's coming up through the ground and coming down from above and moving up and down through my body. Ladies, if you're on your moon cycle, your menstrual cycle, how does that blood connect you to the divineness of your primal place? How does our scent make us feel when we really access that? How does being present to what is coming up for us in the moment remind us of our primal nature? Whatever it is, whatever we're processing, feeling the ecstasy of that, which doesn't mean always joy and happiness and feeling good, but feeling the ecstasy of feeling as much as we can feel whatever we're feeling in the moment. I'm just going to offer a prayer now from the primal place in me to bring in this reminder that that is the place of our divinity. Feel where your body is activated. Got a lot coming up my arms and resting like here. Like there's a sense of being able to push and to grab and to hold. What is it you need to hold for yourself or for others? Whatever tiny spark or huge spark of feeling that's moving through your body right now, that's a connection to your primal self. That's a connection to your divinity. Breathe into it, as tiny, as subtle as it may be. Breathe into it. Acknowledge that it's there and you feel it. Go forth into your night of the 13th full moon, feeling that, acknowledging it. letting yourself explore the primal in you. I love you all. Thank you for being a part of this prayer with me. You're beautiful. Have a wonderful night.